So today's video is a pretty quick video. I'm just going to be showing you how I made a fabric swatch book. So the first thing you're obviously going to need is a notebook. I've had this one for a really long time and I really like it, but I've never had a use for it. So now I actually have something to use it for. I would recommend one that is spiral bound. I find those to be easier for this type of thing. It's just easier to flip the pages and everything than like any other way of it being bound together, like stitched together or glued or something. I think just spiral bound is easiest. The inside, mine is just lined. It doesn't really matter what the inside of it looks like. And mine, I believe, is from the dollar store, but you could get yours anywhere, or maybe you already have one, or you can always bind your own book. So this is the notebook I'll be using. Now another thing that you're obviously going to need are some actual fabric swatches. So I just went through my fabrics and cut out little squares. These ones are about 2 inches by 2 inches. If your patterns are bigger, you might need to cut larger squares, but it's very easy. You just go through your fabrics and cut some squares of which ones you want swatches of in your book. And then what I did was I took some glue and then ran the glue around the edges so that way it would stop it from fraying. And I did that for every single one before putting it in the book because I don't want it all to fray and then it'll probably fall apart. One other option would be to zigzag stitch around all the edges, but that could get messy and time consuming, so I would just recommend gluing it. And finally, to put the whole thing together, I'll be using some embroidery floss just because it's thicker than regular thread, and a needle. Mine is pretty large because I need one with a large eye, but just any needle and some thread or embroidery floss. So the first thing you want to do is color code your swatches. This is optional, but I'm just going to be showing you the way I'm going to be organizing my fabric swatch book in case you'd like to do it the same way. So I started by color coding them. So now that I have everything color coded, I'm going to begin adding them to the book. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to leave just this one page, this extra page here, in case I need it for anything. I'm just not going to do that page yet. I'm going to start on the second page. So I want to group them together, obviously, but this isn't the only 3 blue fabrics I will ever have, and I might need to add more to the book. So I'm going to probably allocate 4 to 5 pages, maybe less, maybe 3 to 4 pages per fabric color group. So I'm going to start with blue, I think. And then I'm going to use blue on this page, but then I'm not going to start the other color group for about 3 more pages. And then I will do the next color group. Let's say green, I will do the greens on this one. So hopefully that makes sense. I am going to be arranging them like this because this is the way I can get the most room out of it. So I can have about 6 on each page. So I'm just gonna basically start stitching them down. So I've threaded my needle with the embroidery floss. I just left it attached for now because I don't need to double it over or anything. And then I just left this little tail right here. So all you have to do, you could try measuring these out, making sure they're in exactly the right order or something like that. I'm not that meticulous. It's not that big of a deal because these aren't quite perfect squares anyway. But one thing I think I am going to do is try to just use the lines as a guide for spacing. My notebook has lines. If yours doesn't, it doesn't really matter. But I'm just going to use them to sort of guide where I'm going to space it, so that way they are all aligned. I'm going to line up the top of this one piece right here with this top line, and I'm just only going to be stitching the corner because if I try to stitch everything, then this is paper, so it's not gonna hold very well. And if I want to, if I only stitch the corner this way, I can fold it over and I can see what the bad side of the fabric looks like if I need to for whatever reason. It's really easy. All you have to do is take your paper and make sure to go in on the back of the paper. So I want it here. I'm just going to mark it on that side so that way I can see. So all I'm going to do is come in on the back here of where I want it. So I want to put my stitch right in here, right below that line there. Come on up and through this. So obviously that's not going to work just like that. But You just have to come up and through the fabric, like this. So then, it's really easy. Now that you got that in, you just go back through, making sure to only go through, and that's kind of the hard part here, just the fabric and the paper. So now it looks like this, and then on the back side you can see the thread like that. So all I'm gonna do is I took it off my needle, just gonna pull it so there's not too much extra thread on this side, and then tie it in a knot. Not too tight because the paper can rip. And then the second knot. There we go. So it's that simple. All I have to do after that is cut off the extra, leaving a little bit because I don't want to have to try to put glue on every single one of these. So I'm just gonna leave a little bit, as you can see here. And that's all you have to do. So when on this side, now I have it secured in. This is why I'm only using, this is why I'm using embroidery floss, because I'm only doing one stitch. Thread might not hold completely, or it might rip the paper with only one stitch. So then I can fold it this way if I want to see the bad side. I could even write a little note under here if I want to write something about the fabric. So then I just continue the whole way through, and then whenever I get more fabric that I want swatches of in this book, I can just keep adding to it. So I think I will do this and get right back to you. So that is pretty much it. It's really easy. You just slowly fill up each page. Make sure to leave a few pages separate. Like this page is blank right now, but that's only because I want to make sure I have enough room if I need to add more blue, and so on and so forth with each group of color. Yeah, so this method is really easy. You could always try gluing it on if you really wanted to, but the only problem with that is it might not be as strong. It'll probably rip off easily. And if you want to, say, take out one of these colors, all you have to do is cut off the thread, pull it out, and then you can put a new color in its place without ruining anything. You won't ruin the paper, you won't ruin the whole page or anything. You won't ruin the fabric. So yeah, this method works really well if you have to remove something, and it's nice and strong, so it's not going to, obviously unless you yank it, it's not going to come out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy video, and I am really glad I have this now because it is going to be really useful in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.